Hello everyone, welcome to the Pharmacy and History channel. On the banks of the Nile River stands the Temple of Edfu, one of the most magnificent structures left by ancient Egypt. Its main gate, known in Greek as the pylon, towers over 35 meters high and is nearly 80 meters wide. From a distance, the first impression is one of grandeur and power. Upon entering the expansive courtyard, one feels transported to another world, where ancient Egyptians gathered to worship, seek healing, and acquire knowledge. This temple was dedicated to Horus, the sky god and protector of Egyptian kings, known as pharaohs. Horus is known for his battle with his uncle, Seth, the god of chaos. This story was then magnificently carved into the temple walls, presenting dramatic scenes that seem to freeze the moment of the battle in stone. The story of the battle between Horus and Seth lives on not only in the ancient reliefs on the walls of the Temple of Edfu, but also continues to resonate today. One of the most captivating sights at the Temple of Edfu is the pair of falcon statues that stand proudly at the entrance to the temple's core. Made of black granite, each towering 3 meters high, they depict Horus in the form of a falcon. Their presence seems like an eternal guardian, ensuring the sanctity of the sacred space. Horus is known as the protector of the pharaohs, a symbol of power and the guardian of order. Behind the statue, the temple walls tell the legendary story of Horus' battle. These carvings are not just decoration, but a reminder of the eternal struggle between order and destruction, between light and darkness. The Temple of Edfu is not just an architectural monument, but also an open book, preserving traces of ancient Egyptian beliefs, rituals, and medical knowledge. Entering the interior of the Temple of Edfu, the eye is immediately drawn to the vast and majestic space. The courtyard stretches out, giving the impression of being endless. Rows of towering, massive pillars, each over 15 meters high, form a chamber called the hypostyle hall. These pillars not only serve as supports, but also act as a canvas for history. The reliefs carved into their surfaces depict ancient stories in stunning detail. Each carving conveys stories, prayers, and symbols that were once part of the spiritual life of ancient Egypt. Further inside, we find the hypostyle hall, a roofed chamber supported by rows of tall columns decorated with mythological carvings. The atmosphere here is serene, as if inviting visitors to walk more slowly. The tops of the pillars are shaped like blooming lotus flowers, as if bringing the atmosphere of the Nile River into this stone chamber. A closer look reveals that the surfaces of the pillars are covered in carvings. They feature ancient Egyptian gods, kings offering sacrifices, and symbols of life. These are not mere decorations, but stories inscribed in carving tales of humanity's relationship with the gods. The uniqueness of the Temple of Edfu lies in the richness of its reliefs and hieroglyphics. The walls still hold detailed records of rituals, festivals, and even religious law of ancient Egypt, making it not just a magnificent structure, but a living archive of a civilization thousands of years ago. Once upon a time, this place would have been filled with torchlight and the sound of ritual chanting. Imagine priests walking among these pillars, carrying incense, while the people gathered in prayer. On one wall of the Temple of Edfu, Horus stands majestically, his eyes gazing majestically ahead. Beside him stands a cobra, coiled in a ready pose. In ancient Egyptian thought, this was more than just a meeting between a falcon god and a sacred snake. Horus symbolized the king who maintained order in the world, while the cobra Wedjat, protector of Lower Egypt, was a guardian who breathed fire upon its enemies. This relief demonstrates that the Temple of Edfu was not only a center of worship, but also served as a space for medical and healing learning, a place where science, faith, and art blended in harmony. At the Temple of Edfu, a fascinating series of hieroglyphs has been discovered, revealing how the ancient Egyptians understood the concept of healing. The writing, engraved on one of the temple's pillars, conveys prayers and wishes in the form of sacred symbols. What makes the Temple of Edfu even more fascinating is its role as a teaching center for aspiring healers. In its expansive courtyard, aspiring healers learned about herbal remedies, human anatomy, and even healing rituals. All of this was conveyed through reference to the symbols and teachings of Horus, the patron god. This tradition of teaching made the Temple of Edfu not only a place of worship, but also a kind of medical school of its time. From here, ancient Egyptian medical knowledge was passed down, preserved, and gradually spread to other civilizations through trade routes, seafaring, and even conquest. Edfu Temple stands on the west bank of the Nile River, in the small town of Edfu, about 136 kilometers north of Aswan, or about 2 hours by road from there. For visitors from Cairo, this city is usually reached by flight to Aswan, then continued by road along the banks of the Nile until arriving in Edfu. Built during the Ptolemaic dynasty, between 237 and 57 BC, the Edfu Temple is one of the largest and best-preserved religious complexes in Egypt, after the pyramids. Dedicated to Horus, the god of the sky and protector of the pharaohs, this temple was not only a place of worship, but also the center of religious and cultural life for the people of ancient Egypt. Until now, its splendor still holds the echo of a long, amazing history. On another wall of the Edfu Temple, there is also a relief depicting Horus, the falcon-headed sky god, standing face-to-face with a vulture. The bird represents Nekbet, the protector goddess of Upper Egypt, who was usually depicted as a carrion-eating vulture. In ancient Egyptian tradition, Nekbet served as the guardian of the throne and a symbol of protective power, always accompanying the king. In this relief, the vulture's firm grip on an object, possibly the symbol of life, Ankh, or a sign of power, illustrates its role as both a provider of protection and an affirmation of divine legitimacy. The face-to-face encounter between Horus and Nekbet is not a confrontation, but a symbolic dialogue between heaven and earth, between the divine king and the patron goddess of the Egyptian land. This scene emphasizes the message that the pharaoh's power as the earthly embodiment of Horus was sustained not only by his own strength, but also by the support of cosmic forces and the patron goddess of Upper Egypt. On the stone walls of this Edfu temple, ancient Egyptian life seems to have paused for eternity. Small figures are seen holding up offerings, vessels, food, incense, simple yet meaningful gifts. They are not merely ritual figures, but tangible reflections of the society that lived on the banks of the Nile thousands of years ago. Every carved gesture, outstretched hands, bowed heads, steps reflects a daily life bound by reverence for the gods. This was the pulse of Egyptian life, working, cultivating the earth's produce, and then offering it back in the form of offerings to maintain balance in the world. This relief reminds us that for them, the sacred and the profane were never separate. Daily life was worship, and worship was a reflection of life. Behind the stonework, we can feel the breath of the past, a simple, religious society, convinced that every loaf of bread they baked, every stick of incense they burned, was part of a greater cosmic harmony. From the imposing giant pylon to the vast ceremonial courtyard to the sacred altar that once served as the center of worship, every corner of the temple bears the imprint of a history that still feels alive. The symbols of Horus are carved in detail, while the wall reliefs preserve records of herbal remedies and healing rituals, making this place a unique intersection of mythology, culture, and medicine. The Temple of Edfu is not just an architectural relic, but a stone manuscript that still speaks of the beliefs, medicine, and spiritual life of ancient Egyptian civilization. At the heart of the Temple of Edfu is the sanctuary, or naos, the innermost chamber considered the most sacred. Once, this place served as both a secret chamber and an ancient library, where papyri and reliefs recorded knowledge about herbs, healing rituals, and even simple healing techniques. At the Temple of Edfu, Horus was not only revered as the sky god and protector of the pharaohs, but also depicted as a healer. The legendary Eye of Horus symbol provides a strong link between spirituality and medical practice. Reliefs on the temple walls depict healing rituals and the use of medicinal plants, which were believed to possess both magical powers and therapeutic benefits. Some of the texts and carvings in the temple have even become important sources for modern researchers in understanding ancient Egyptian medical practices. Records of herbal concoctions and healing methods demonstrate a continuity of knowledge that remains relevant to today's pharmaceutical world. One of the most striking reliefs depicts an offering ritual, scenes of purification, the administration of medicines, and healing symbols carved in stunning detail. From these carvings, we can see how ancient Egyptians viewed medicine as part of the harmony between body, soul, and the universe. One relief at the Edfu temple depicts a meaningful offering scene. The central figure is depicted as the falcon-headed god Horus, protector of kings and god of healing. He is depicted receiving or giving offerings, with a vessel in his hand representing a sacred receptacle. Before him is a bull-headed deity Hathor in some aspects, or Harsamtus, often associated with fertility, healing, and new life. In front of this figure is a table filled with vessels, likely containing herbs, oils, or incense. Beside her, a human figure carries an Egyptian blue lotus flower along with other plants. The blue lotus is not only a symbol of beauty, but also has medicinal uses. It is known as a mild sedative, a vitality enhancer, and an essential ingredient in religious rituals. The hieroglyphs surrounding the relief describe prayers and offerings, reinforcing its connection to bodily purity and spiritual healing. The meaning of this scene can be understood as a ritual purification and offering of herbal medicines to Horus. The offering table functions like a sacred pharmacy, where medicinal herbs and oils are stored. The presence of the lotus plant demonstrates the pharmacological knowledge of ancient Egypt, which combined physical healing with symbolic power. According to ancient Egyptian legend, Horus once lost his eye in a fierce fight against his uncle. The eye was later restored by Thoth, the god of knowledge. From this story was born the Eye of Horus symbol, which later became known as a symbol of healing. For ancient Egyptian, this symbol represented regeneration, balance, and the power to restore life. For ancient Egyptian healers, the Eye of Horus symbol served as a divine guide. With it, they formulated medicinal potions, soothed patients, and even marked specific body parts that required special attention. Every carving and hieroglyph on the walls seemed to convey the same message: that healing was not simply a medical practice, but a combination of science, spirituality, and art. Each part of the Eye of Horus is thought to represent the mathematical fractions 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, 1/16, 1/32, and 1/64. These fractions are used in ancient measurement systems to determine quantities, including the dosage of medicines and herbal concoctions. Thus, the Wedjat Eye not only symbolizes health and wholeness but also plays a direct role in everyday medical practice. In the Ebers Papyrus, one of the most important medical texts from ancient Egypt, we find recipes that use fractional doses associated with the Eye of Horus symbol. These fractions are not written with modern numerals, but with hieroglyphs representing parts of the sacred eye. For example, 1/8, the right eye of Horus, used to indicate 1/8 of an ingredient, usually for liquids or dry powders. 1/4, the brow of Horus, representing a quarter, often used for potent ingredients. 1/2, the pupil, representing half a dose, usually for the main component in a medicinal concoction. In this way, each recipe in the Ebers Papyrus not only lists the ingredients but also utilizes the fractional Eye of Horus symbol to represent pharmaceutical measurements. As a result, the medical text is not simply a collection of recipes but also conveys spiritual symbolism, as if each concoction were formulated with a blend of knowledge, faith, and divine protection. Translation of a recipe for asthma, Ebers Papyrus 761 to 763, for example. A remedy for improving breathing, treating asthma, shortness of breath. Take 1/4 cup of henbane seeds or Hyoscyamus niger, equals 1/4 Eye of Horus. 1/8 cup of cumin seeds, equals 1/8 Eye of Horus. 1/16 cup of dried dates, equals 1/16 Eye of Horus. Then mix with 1/32 cup of frankincense resin, equals 1/32 Eye of Horus. Pound and grind. Place the mixture on hot stones and inhale the smoke rising from them. This will relieve the chest and restore good breathing. This quote makes it clear that the Ebers Papyrus not only records the ingredients and instructions, but also provides precise dosages using the Eye of Horus fraction system. In this way, the ancient Egyptians recognized the importance of precise measurements in compounding medicine, a concept that is central to modern pharmacy. Wow! Another example, the Ebers Papyrus stomach ache recipe. The original text is simple: to relieve stomach ache, cumin, coriander, cinnamon, honey. Crush, strain, and drink slowly. Then the stomach ache will subside, and the body will feel comfortable again. There are no modern numerals, but rather fractions of the Eye of Horus used to measure ingredients. In this system, 1 row is the base unit, equivalent to approximately 15 milliliters, converted from 1 hecat, which is approximately 4.8 liters. From there, the fractions of the Eye of Horus provide dosage guidelines. 1/2 row approximately equals 7.5 milliliters. 1/4 row approximately equals 3.75 milliliters. 1/8 row approximately equals 1.9 milliliters. And 1/16 row approximately equals 0.9 milliliters. With this guide, the stomach ache recipe from the Ebers Papyrus can be reimagined as follows. Take approximately 7.5 milliliters, 1/2 row, of cumin. Add approximately 3.75 milliliters, 1/4 row, of coriander. Add approximately 1.9 milliliters, 1/8 row, of cinnamon. Then mix with approximately 0.9 milliliters, 1/16 row of honey. Crush, strain, and drink slowly. Then the stomach ache will subside and the body will feel at ease again. Simple yet profound. Cumin and coriander are known for their carminative effects, relieving bloating. Cinnamon provides warmth to digestion. Meanwhile, honey, from ancient times to the present, has been believed to be a natural coolant and binder for herbs. Reading this recipe, we feel like we're revisiting an Egyptian healer's kitchen, a stone pestle, a clay bowl, and the billowing smoke of incense. There are no modern measuring instruments, but there is precision, and the sacred Eye of Horus symbol maintains the balance of the dosage. Perhaps behind the simplicity of this concoction lies a message that is relevant today, that healing always begins with nature, and ancient knowledge can still reach us through concoctions so close to our daily lives. The Ebers Papyrus is one of the most comprehensive medical manuscripts from ancient Egypt, measuring approximately 20 meters long and containing over 700 recipes and concoctions. This manuscript is not just a list of medicines, but also a record of ailments, diagnoses, prayers, and healing spells. It covers almost every aspect of health, from stomach aches and wounds, skin diseases, dental problems, eye problems, and even mental disorders. If we look back to modern times, it's safe to say that of those hundreds of recipes, at least dozens of basic herbal concoctions are still used in traditional medicine, herbal medicine, or natural health supplements to this day. Amazing! The afternoon grew hotter and we slowly left the temple. But its traces remained in our minds, ancient reliefs, symbols, and prayers that still whisper of life, health, and strength. On those silent stone walls, ancient Egyptian healers left a timeless message, that healing always arises from a balance of knowledge, precision, and faith. That message remains relevant today, spanning thousands of years, and reminds us that the science of medicine is a long legacy of humanity's quest for a healthier and more meaningful life. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.